welcome to the Instagram stories for Monday, June 16th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today on the show, we're going to talk about how Instagram is testing the ability for users to repost posts. Threads is rolling out the ability to hide some text in a thread that you have to tap on to reveal, like a spoiler. And WhatsApp announces that they are going to be releasing ads in between status updates, much like what you see on Instagram stories. Plus, we'll do some Mosseri Monday, talking about the questions and answers from the head of Instagram. And if we have time, we'll dive into a podcast that I was on today, talking all about Instagram stories and how to leverage them for maximum engagement. All of that and more on today's action-packed episode. But first, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Let's start with the Instagram news. TechCrunch is reporting that Instagram is testing the ability for users to repost feed posts on the platform. And this was confirmed to TechCrunch by Instagram. This is something that has been in the works for a while. Now, currently, you can share someone's feed post in your story, but this upcoming repost functionality would let you reshare the post directly in your feed. Now, there are other ways to do that today. You can use third-party apps and other workarounds. You could take a screenshot or a screen recording and do that. But an official repost would actually help to cut down on some of the stolen posts that happen often on the platform. If you've ever had content of yours stolen or reposted by somebody else without your approval, that's a very frustrating experience. But if there is a repost feature on Instagram that would allow your post to be reposted by someone else in their feed, then you would get credit for it, and that would help your account to grow and so forth. So that would be a win for everyone. I will link to this TechCrunch article, and I will, of course, keep you posted as this test continues. Let's move on to the Threads news. The CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, announced that Threads is rolling out a test to let you hide images or text in a thread that contains spoilers. With this test, you'll be able to blur content by tapping an image or highlighting the text that you want to be hidden and select the Mark Spoiler option. Other viewers can view the hidden content by tapping or clicking on the spoiler. The CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, posted a thread that was completely highlighted and not readable at all, but if you tapped on it, you would see that the text then said, "Spoiler alert, we're testing a way for you to hide spoilers in your thread posts." I think this is going to be a really interesting feature to use as it rolls out because it helps to get people invested a little bit more in your content. I always say, make people work for it a little bit. And by having them tap on the text to see it, it requires a little bit of effort from them, and therefore they will be more invested. I will, of course, keep you posted as this rolls out, and I will link to Mark Zuckerberg's thread so you can see it for yourself in the show notes. Moving on, let's do a quick hit of WhatsApp news. Meta announced today that they are going to be having advertisements in the status section of WhatsApp. If you're not familiar, WhatsApp has stories, which it refers to as status. Works very similarly to Instagram stories. They're up for 24 hours, but the only way that somebody can view your story is if they have your phone number saved in their phone and you have their phone number saved in your phone. Then you can see each other's statuses or stories. Meta announced advertisements in this section saying, quote, "You'll be able to find a new business and easily start a conversation with them about a product or service they are promoting in status," end quote. You might not think much about stories on WhatsApp because you're focused on Instagram stories, but let me tell you, the people who you're friends with who brag about how they're not on social media and how they will never have social media, if you post something on your WhatsApp story, they are stalking that like you have no idea. I have seen this personally firsthand. Post a story that you have on Instagram on WhatsApp and watch how many of your friends view that story. Trust me, there is an engaged audience on WhatsApp waiting for your content. If you want to read more about the features that the Meta team is adding to WhatsApp, I will link to this blog post so you can check it out for yourself. Okay, that's it for the news. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, the head of Instagram is going to answer some questions about stories, small creators, using hashtags, and a lot more. Stick around. Welcome back. Let's get into the questions and answers from the head of Instagram. And the first one, what's the latest with Threads? Good question. I talked about the spoiler feature that Mark Zuckerberg announced today, but Adam Mosseri does not mention that.
Threads is doing well. It's growing in the US. It's actually really growing a lot in Japan right now. It's really big in a couple countries like Hong Kong. The overview is we're not as big as we want to be yet, though we're still growing. But I'm more worried that, I wouldn't say that, but it's not as interesting as it should be yet. There's too much content on Threads that you can find anywhere else. And so we need to do more to reward the most culturally relevant voices, the people with the most interesting things to say and the conversations to have. So we're working on trying to figure that out while we build more features. Inbox is testing right now in a couple countries. If that goes well, we'll launch it worldwide soon. And we get some more stuff up our sleeve.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Does Instagram care about small creators too? I'm going to say that it hasn't really felt like Instagram cares about small creators, but I'll let Adam Mosseri say more.
Absolutely. Smaller creators are often the most interesting creators, and they're the big creators of tomorrow. So they were definitely trying to figure out ways that we can do more to support smaller names. I think historically we've done better by big names, if I'm really honest, but we're trying to change that through not only focusing on valuing original content more and ranking, but by proactively looking for smaller creators with ranking and giving as much content or all content, no matter what the size of the creator, a chance to reach a new audience. And then when something does well, continuing to grow it. So looking for more ways to support the little guys.
Since we're talking about Instagram helping small creators grow, one thing that I do think is very good to use are trial reels. And I've talked a lot about them on this show historically. The question, what are trial reels and how can I use them?
Coming to you from the airport. So trial reels are reels that you can post that don't go to your followers and don't show up on your profile. They just go to people who do not follow you. And you can see how they do and then decide, do you want to upgrade that reel and have it go to all your followers as well as show up on your profile. Hopefully a way to depressurize taking some creative chances. And you can do it through the post flow. It's one of the options in the flow.
Okay, let's go on to the next question, which has to do with hashtags. The question, do we need to use hashtags? I mean, you don't need to at all. I think historically, when we first started using Instagram, we needed to use hashtags to find content. That was how we searched for things. But these days, we don't really search that way on Instagram anymore. And most hashtags are used for spam. I've noticed that if you use certain hashtags, you're going to get bots on your posts, bots in your DMs, and you don't want that. So don't use those hashtags that millions of other people have used. Here's the answer to the question, do we need to use hashtags?
No, you don't need to use hashtags. They're a nice way to explain what your post is about and connect to other posts. They're not a great reach hack. They're not something you have to use.
Let's go on to the next question, which has to do with the new Restyle feature that's part of the Edits app. This is where you can choose from different backgrounds, you can change your clothes, a lot of different things. The question, how do I use the new AI thing that you posted about? Here's Adam's answer.
You do it right now through the Edits app, though it's coming to Instagram soon. So once you download Edits, if you haven't already, when you're editing a reel, you can tap on any clip in the timeline, and there's a little button that says Restyle at the bottom. And you can use that with a set of presets to start. Eventually, you're going to be able to ask for anything you want to restyle your video with AI and hopefully tell your story in a new or different or novel way. So check it out.
And the last question we're going to talk about today, why should I be posting on stories if my focus is reels? Great question. I think you need to go into stories understanding that mostly the people who watch your stories, 99% of them, are going to be people who already follow you. Reels are going to be for people who may not follow you yet, who may be coming across your content for the first time, especially if those reels are short. But if they want to get to know a little bit more about you once they've started following you, they're going to watch your stories. Here's Adam's answer to why should I be posting on stories if my focus is reels?
You don't have to. Reels is great. And if you just want to use Reels, amazing. Now, stories is pretty great at behind the scenes type of content because it's ephemeral, it disappears, it's something that people ask for, it doesn't just show up in their feed. So people tend to use it for more raw, more frequent, more authentic sharing. But if you can do that in Reels too, that's great. So try stories. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's all right too. I'm not going to push anybody to use any of our tools. We have to build things that you find valuable, and then if you don't find them valuable, you don't have to use them, and that's on us.
I mean, at the end of the day, all Instagram cares about is, are you using their app for as much time of the day as possible? That's really the most important thing. That is going to do it for today's episode. I know I said I wanted to play a podcast clip after the Adam Mosseri questions and answers, but there were just so many good ones that we've run out of time. If you have not signed up for my email newsletter yet, recapping the week's social media news, you can sign up for my email newsletter via the link in the show notes. Be sure to check that out. I will be sending out a email newsletter every Monday. That's my plan anyway. And be sure to come back next time for more social media news, strategy, and other things that you need to know.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in the work, without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish, unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that, there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.